10 years ago, I wrote on my personal travel blog, Australia sucks. In it, I detailed, Australia seems to have more rules than any other country on the planet I have visited. There are signs outlining rules everywhere. I was even on a street that had a street sign denoting that particular street as being an alcohol-free street. No alcohol is allowed to be consumed or even carried on that street. I presume that even includes inside the houses on that street by the way it was written. I haven't been back to Australia for years for this exact reason. It's one of the most oppressive countries in the world, so it actually comes as no surprise to hear that the Australian government is considering putting tiny identification chips in its $100 bills to track them and to stop people from avoiding extortion and pensioners hoarding the money. This is according to a government agency that is actually, really, called the Black Economy Task Force. It's not really called that, is it? The black economy or black market is a euphemism for the free market. They have to make it sound as bad as possible to get people to believe that by them stomping out the free market, they are helping out Australians. It's the same reason they always like to make the word anarchy sound as bad as possible. People need to fear freedom, or they won't want to be enslaved anymore. The Black Economy Task Force says that older Australians were hiding the notes to avoid the government benefits assets test. This is why the government being involved in anything becomes incredibly evil incredibly quickly, since the Australian government is extorting their tax slaves for their entire lives and then paying back some of it to them later as a pension, and won't actually pay it back if you have managed to prosper fairly well despite being extorted your whole life. Then, well, the government needs to track every single thing you do to make sure you don't cheat the system that has been cheating you your entire life. Here were some commenters on 9 News' Facebook post. Of course, there are always the heavily indoctrinated slaves who actually defend the very system that enslaves them, like the last commenter who makes a new, ridiculous definition of the term hoarding by saying it is hoarding when they're purposely hiding it from the assets test. Luckily, a few people in Australia are still awake enough to see what a joke this is, as the rest of the commenters mocked it. One said, "Does that mean I'm hoarding my $10 note that has been sitting on my shelf for 3 months? Shrimp? Barbie?" That's what they sound like, right? The top commenter nailed it on the head by pointing out that there is another word for hoarding. It's called saving. But Keynesian central banks and tyrannical governments don't want anyone to do something silly like saving money. They want you in debt. Of course, the real reason for wanting to track all cash transactions is so that the criminal government can take a cut off of everyone's hard-earned work. The criminal Black Economy Task Force, whose employees should all be shot, says it right on their website. Activities that take place in the black economy reduce the amount of tax revenue governments are able to collect. The black economy undermines the integrity of our tax system, penalizes taxpayers who do the right thing, and if unchecked, can foster a damaging culture of non-compliance in the community. The free market undermines the integrity of their tax system, does it? A tax system has no integrity. Taxation is theft. Why haven't these people been shot yet? This latest idea of chipping the fiat plastic money comes just after the Australian government announced in December it would review the $100 bill's existence and are considering demonetizing it like they did in India. So it's clear the Australian government is working night and day to try to make sure every transaction made on the continent is tracked and extorted. Funny, they say Australia was started as a prison where English criminals were sent. Today, it's a prison where you don't even have to go anywhere and everyone is enslaved. Given this is going on everywhere in the world currently, it's really no wonder that Bitcoin is skyrocketing, and other altcoins that are even much harder or impossible to track. Cryptocurrencies are really the last option for those who don't want to be completely enslaved and extorted. If you still don't understand why cryptocurrencies are so important, please check out my free 4-video webinar in the notes down below. I'll even send you your first $50 in Bitcoin if you accept our offer at the end of the videos. If you know anyone in Australia, please send them this information. But even if you are lucky enough to not live in the outdoor prison called Australia, the war on cash is a worldwide attack on humanity by the Zionist Rothschild banking cartel and will be coming to a country near you soon. Make sure to trade their fiat scrip for some gold, silver, and Bitcoin before it's too late.
In an economic climate where dollar collapse, skyrocketing inflation, and total loss of financial privacy is almost guaranteed, many wonder how to keep their finances safe. In the past, investors have turned to offshore banks to try to regain control. But privacy in offshore banking is dead. Besides, offshore accounts cost a fortune, aren't convenient, and regulations make opening one nearly impossible for anyone other than the ultra-rich. But a brand new technology has made it easy for individuals like you to escape the trap of central banking without going offshore. It's not offshore banking, it's nationless private banking. And right now, you can discover the nationless private banking system for free. Plus, discover how to qualify for a $50 deposit to your new private bank. Click on the link for more information now.